Are the Saints real or fool's gold? First, they smoked the Panthers, beat them by almost 50 points. I believe it was a 47-10 final. But everyone was saying that's the Carolina Panthers. It's one of the worst teams in the league. My Chargers got the Panthers this week, also blew them out. Also, we're in a situation where they could have been playing their backups in the fourth quarter. We're going to talk more about the Chargers and Panthers here in a couple minutes. To stay on topic here, now they go into Dallas, into Jerry World, and they do that to the Dallas Cowboys and that defense? That is impressive. And even me, as a person who was doubting the Saints going into the season, I am impressed. And I wish I would have listened to John Gruden. I saw his episode. He kind of inspired me a little bit to launch my own podcast on my own, because he just launched his own podcast called Gruden Loves Football, because he can't get back into the NFL with everything that's happened to him, suing the league and everything. So he just said, "Oh, screw it. I'll talk about football on my own YouTube channel. It's called Gruden Loves Football." Here's a free plug for Gruden. But he said on that channel that he knows Derek Carr very well. Derek Carr is very familiar with the Zimmer defense, and he basically predicted that Derek Carr was going to carve the Cowboys defense up. No one on the internet, no one saw it coming, even after the Saints' crazy good week one. No one expected them to kill the Cowboys defense the way they did. So shouts out to Carr. Shouts out to Gruden for calling it. I should have listened to him, because I picked the Dallas Cowboys to win this game and got this one wrong as one of my many wrong picks last week. And what I said last year about the Saints defense is kind of coming true this year. I was saying that this defense just has so many veterans, so many players that we've seen consistently perform in the NFL over years of time, that even though they don't have the top end talent anymore and these guys aren't in their prime, it's going to form into a really good defense. And last year did not come true. They weren't healthy at all. But this year, now that they're healthy, we're kind of seeing what I was talking about. The Honey Badger is playing his ass off. Demario Davis is being his usual self. We're seeing some of these DBs that are a little bit younger make some plays in the secondary, with Marshawn Lattimore being a little bit banged up. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about out of these first two games from the Saints defense. We all know about the talent on offense, and we could talk about this offense, which has put up now a plus 91 point differential. You guys want to know when the last time a team opened up the season, their first two games, with a plus 90 point differential? Yeah, it's the 2024 Saints this year, and the 2009 Super Bowl winning Saints had a plus 94 point differential after 2 weeks. So, are we getting some signs here from the football gods, from the football powers that be, that the Saints are legit again? We all know about Alvin Kamara. He's a touchdown machine. This guy is almost impossible to bring down in one-on-one. He's impossible to tackle in open space. He makes so many guys look silly on these little screens that Carr can just dump out to him. And he's got a one-on-one guy. The receiver blocks the DB. The slot receiver blocks the safety. Now linebackers coming out and trying to tackle Alvin Kamara with a ton of open space. Or they leave the safety free, and a safety's trying to tackle Alvin Kamara in open space. And we've just seen it does not work out. This guy scored a crap ton of touchdowns again this week, as we've seen him do in multiple games. Chris Olave has just turned into a consistent, really well-rounded wide receiver outside for the Saints. And then maybe the most underrated football player in the league right now, of all positions, is Rashid Shaheed. Pound for pound, the most underrated. I mean, this guy is a deep threat, a guy that can take it to the end zone on any play. It reminds me a lot of Jameson Williams, who's in Detroit and doing what he's doing right now with the Lions in these first two games as well. Rashid Shaheed, man, this guy has formed a crazy connection with Derek Carr and an insane duo here with Chris Olave. And when you add Alvin Kamara into the mix, like I was mentioning, it's very hard to stop. And it's so hard to stop that the Saints starters right now have been stopped once so far this season. The Saints did not punt until they put their backups in that Dallas Cowboys Saints game last week. And that's including the Panthers game. Talking 2 straight games without the starters punting. The one drive that did not result in a field goal or touchdown for the Saints, Derek Carr just overthrew Olave for a pick late in the game, up by 3 touchdowns. The interception did not have any impact on the result of the game at all, or where that was going. But don't get too excited yet, Saints fans. I'm not saying that the Saints are completely fool's gold, because what they're doing right now is almost historic. I can't deny what my eyes are seeing on the field in the first 2 weeks of play in 2024. But I also can't deny what my eyes have seen from Derek Carr in the past. And we've seen him do this with the Raiders multiple times, where he's just really good for stretches of games. A borderline top 10 level quarterback play for stretches of games. And then teams get the tape on that, and they just start to realize, like, we just got to heat this guy up. We just got to get pressure in his face in the first quarter, and he kind of just becomes a shell of himself. All this holding on to the ball and taking those deep shots down the field, it all goes away. He just starts to check the ball down, try and get it out as soon as possible. And Joey Bosa's even commented on it before, called him out on it on game week, had the Raiders respond, and same thing. Derek Carr gets sacked 7 times in the next game because he's holding on to the ball, and as soon as an edge rusher gets around him, he hits the deck because he took 2 big hits in the first quarter. So Saints fans, just understand that you still have Derek Carr at quarterback. Understand that we've seen him do this exact thing in the past. Tape gets out on him. Defensive coordinator start to get some pressure on him, get in his face, and it severely drops off. Also, this team needs to stay healthy. Chris Olave has dealt with injuries in his career a lot already. Alvin Kamara, don't even have to mention his injury history. I think this O-line is playing very good right now, and they're also a very injury-prone O-line. It seems like the little tackle switch they did has worked out tremendously, and then also bringing in the new offensive coordinator. I will say, I think that the Saints could be the real deal. I think they could be a good team in the NFC, but it doesn't matter what I think, because the ball isn't going to lie on this in these next 4 weeks, y'all. The Saints go to Philly, or no, they're hosting the Eagles this week. So that's going to be a great test to their rushing defense with Saquon Barkley coming downhill. That's going to be a great test for their offense when they're going against this Philly defensive line rotation. I know that the Eagles are a little bit in disarray. The Eagles should be 2-0. They blew that game against the Falcons last night. They should not be 1-1. This should be a 2-0 team also going against New Orleans. And they see Atlanta the next week. And I just feel like Atlanta's going to get better and better the more and more Kirk knocks the rust off, first of all, from the injury, and just learns the offense, gets better, gets more rest, because Bijan Robinson is too good not to be good. And he has not been good so far this year. Drake London is too good not to be good. And it's not been great this year. And they squeaked out that win. They got very lucky. They got to be very excited for that. But by the time these Saints see the Atlanta Falcons, they're going to be going into Atlanta, division rival, in Atlanta's 4th game. So going to have a lot more reps under the belt. I think the offense for Atlanta will be a lot better. And then they go to KC. So back-to-back road games. We don't need to talk about KC and what a test that is for the Saints. Derek Carr versus Patrick Mahomes rivalry renewed. And then they host Tampa. So these next 4 games, we're going to find out about the Saints. The Saints could be 2-4 in 4 games. And that's realistic. But they also could be 4-2 and have some really impressive wins along with this really strong 2-0 start against the Cowboys and the Panthers. And the Cowboys win is very impressive. And speaking of Tampa, let's talk about the Bucs next, since we're here and we're talking about the NFC South. The Falcons obviously 1-1 now. The Bucs 2-0. The Saints 2-0. The Panthers are out already. The Panthers might as well post up the elimination graphic right now. But the Bucs, they beat Washington in week 1. Now they beat the Lions in a very impressive win here in week 2, especially for that Bucs defense. And it clutched up twice in this game. Jared Goff got 2 opportunities to get the Lions into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown, and both times the defense was able to stop him late in the game, man. And Todd Bowles deserves a ton of credit for this. We were talking about this on the MJT football podcast ahead of this game, that this defense is underrated. They have a lot of guys that can play football on it, and Todd Bowles is an underrated game planner, and he always seems to take away his opponent's best stuff, and he did the same thing here in this Lions games. A few runs leaked, and the Bucs gave up big plays here, there, a pass here, a pass there. It's a very good Lions offense, but for the most part, kept the lid on it, and especially in the red zone, tightened things up when the Lions got on the other side of the 50, and they get the 20-16 win, which is great for this Buccaneers team over a team that was playing in the NFC title game last year. This Baker Mayfield to Mike Evans connection, it just continues to grow, continues to get better, and I think it's only going to continue to get better. And Chris Godwin is the Florida Cooper Kupp, and man, Cooper Kupp injured again. I got him in fantasy this year. I was very excited after week 1. Now he's out. But Chris Godwin hopefully can stay healthy there in Tampa. And for those who drafted him, you got yourself one there. I think Chris Godwin's going to get a lot of targets this year, and Mike Evans is going to keep making those big plays up the sideline for Tampa. Right now, Talking about the Saints or the Bucs, which team would I take in the long run to win this division? Like I said, I can't erase what I saw in the first 2 weeks out of the Saints offense and defense, but I can't erase what I saw all of last season also. So I'm still rocking with the Bucs, who are 2-0 also. They don't have as big of win total, but I think that they're the better team. I think they still have the better quarterback in Baker Mayfield over Derek Carr, and I think they're younger and a little bit more built to last the entire season than the Saints. But we'll see how this goes. Like I said, they play in 4 weeks. And when we get to that meeting, the Saints are, 4-1 or 4-2, and the Bucs are 5-1 or 4-2. That's really going to tell us which team's better, I think, in that game here in 4 weeks. Thank you for tuning in to another NFL Mike video. Now it's time to go make more football friends or go and compete in the Mike's Pickems Challenge or against me in daily fantasy football challenges by joining my completely free NFL group chat, or head to fifthdown.shop and check out and see if we got your team's newest designs. Or now you can simply rep your favorite players without having to wear another team's gear. And then tag us in pictures of you wearing your Fifth Down merch for a shout out in the next episode of NFL Mike's Corner, and help us reach our goal of getting 1,000 NFL fans wearing Fifth Down. Or you can head to the next NFL Mike video by clicking it. It's on your screen. Go ahead.